First is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
First things first, Ice Trae sent the Knicks packing for vacation, then took a bow. Is Trae the NBA's new supervillain? Big changes in Boston, I'm sorry to admit. Will the Celtics be contenders after the shakeup in the front office? It was his doing, by the way, he wanted to leave. And the Lakers on the brink tonight. Can LeBron save their title chances? Good Thursday morning, everyone. Welcome to what should be a somber edition of First Things First. My guy has left the Boston Celtics. We'll talk about all that later. Jenna Wolf, Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall, Kevin Wells. We got bigger things to discuss. Nick Wright, this is it. Elimination game, buddy. How you feeling this morning?
You're right. Really tough spot for the Suns facing elimination since you know they can't beat LeBron in the Game 7. All the pressure on Phoenix.
Start the show.
12 hours from now.
We're going to do it, Brandon. We're going to start the show. Not with that, but with this. Mavs,
Yeah, let's start the show,
Game
Brandon.
5. Once again, the Luka show. 42 points on 37 shots for Luka. How about his fourth 40-point playoff game? And still, he didn't think he did enough. He said after the game he was disappointed in some of his shots. He didn't play great in the fourth quarter, but still had a fantastic game overall. It was more than enough, though, to beat Kawhi and the Clippers. Kawhi, by the way, who missed that game-tying three-point attempt in the final seconds if you were watching this game. Clippers lose. They now sit on the brink of another early exit. But, Nick, let's focus on Luka. Clearly the highlight last night. Is he the best player in the playoffs?
Well, and Jenna, to be fair to Kawhi, I'm not certain we can say he missed a game-tying shot. That might have been a pass, because when it doesn't touch the backboard, the rim, or the net, you really don't know. Is that a shot or a pass? Who knows? But we can discuss Kawhi more later.
It's some shade.
Here's the thing, man. There is not another player in these playoffs that could have the Mavericks up 3-2 on the Clippers. The Mavericks are not a very good team. Kristaps Porzingis, before hitting a huge shot late, looked like he was just a spectator who had ambled onto the court. There's a time where Luka threw him the ball and he seemed shocked, like, oh, I'm playing. You've got Dorian Finney-Smith, who's a nice player, but he's out over his skis. They are starting Boban. Everybody loves Boban, but not to start in Game 5 of a playoff series. But none of it matters, because this 22-year-old Slovenian phenom goes 42, 8, and 14, and that actually understates his impact. Two things really give you the true picture of his impact. One is a number, and the other is a feeling. The number is this: 6. That is the total number of baskets the Mavericks had last night that were not either scored or assisted by Luka. It's the third highest percentage of field goals scored or assisted by a single player in a playoff game in recorded playoff history, according to Elias. That's the number that tells you. The feeling that tells you Luka right now, this very moment, is playing at a higher level than any player in the league with respect to Dame, with respect to KD, with respect to Jokic, and the other guys have been great in the playoffs, is the moment, Brandon, he tries to get a breather. The moment the Mavs are like, let's steal 2 minutes of rest for Luka, they look like a junior varsity team playing over their skis, like playing out of their league. He can't take a breather. It is reminiscent in so many ways of a young LeBron in Cleveland, where it's like, well, when he's on the court, we can compete with anybody, and the moment he goes off the court, we are totally screwed. And that's why he's wearing down in these fourth quarters. But, Brandon, I think he's been the best player in the playoffs thus far. I think what he's doing is utterly and totally remarkable.
Which is a huge problem for him, because he just had a big game and everything was on the shoulder. And now he's in this elimination game, and I don't know if he's going to have the stamina to run it back like that. That's going to be a problem. So, Nick, I want to go back to what you said earlier. So you said there's no player in the playoffs that can have the Mavs up 3-1 on the Clippers. Not even LeBron James, buddy.
3-2.
You don't think LeBron James could do it?
Not the way.
3-2. Excuse
not
me.
the
You
way
don't think
LeBron's played in these. I think a fully healthy, fully functional LeBron. Yes, the way LeBron has played in these playoffs, Luka's been far and away better than LeBron's been in these playoffs. Like there's no argument there.
Okay, well, here's the deal. I just wanted to make sure because you never really talk about LeBron that way. But here's the deal. Luka's been sensational. I mean, you look at what he did to open the series, and then he, had the issue with his neck or his back, whatever's going on. Then he came back with 42 points. Sensational. Lights out. We saw him do this last year in the bubble. But the answer is Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant averaging damn near 33 points. That's a career high in the playoffs. 50%. That's ungodly amount. 50% from three. That's a career high in the playoffs. And he has the pedigree. He has the experience. He has everything it takes to sustain that. So the answer is Kevin Durant. What he is doing right now, coming off of those injuries, not only, 2 years ago, the Achilles that sat him out for a very long time with almost 500 days, and then also what he dealt with this year is insane. So you got to go with Kevin Durant as the best player in the playoffs right now. Wow,
Can I ask
it's
a
just
question?
Sensational. So
let me just ask a quick question, Brandon. What's Durant doing better than Luka? Because he's not.
What is he doing better than Luka?
Rebounding more, or assisting more? Yeah, tell me. What's he doing better than Luka?
He's so efficient. He's efficient. He's efficient. He's efficient. He's making the game look easy. He's doing what Kevin Durant has always done. See, that's the problem with superstars. When you have done it at a high level for so long and you're super consistent, we tend to gloss over you. The same thing we do to LeBron James. Why isn't he MVP? Isn't he deserving of MVP this year? Why are we giving it to Giannis? It's the same reason. Kevin Durant has been doing this for a very long time. Now, these are career highs in the playoffs as far as 50% from three, 32 points a game in the playoffs, career highs. But we know what Kevin Durant is. He's already a playoff legend, and now he's just adding on top of that.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I think Wilds. I think KD's been great. I also think that we all agree the Clippers are a far better team than the Celtics. And KD, when you go into a Nets game, the Nets are so good with Harden and Kyrie, you can't work your entire game plan around stopping KD. The Clippers had one goal last night: stop Luka. And they couldn't do it. They just flatly couldn't do it at any moment of the game.
He was magical.
So that's what I wanted to dig into. And I just watched Ty's post game, and I was like, was the plan to have Luka go off this much? If we can show the stats of like how dominant he was, and his usage rate is off the charts. Okay, so Nick, I thought from watching the game, I was like, is Ty Lue trying to run the sort of same game plan that Denver ran against Portland? Like, you know what? We can't stop this guy. Let him do his thing, but let's shut everyone else down. When you saw Luka had 42, Hardaway had 20, but everybody else is in single digits. Boba had 9. Poor Kristaps Porzingis, who is a big star in New York and's got a big contract and doesn't like Luka anymore, had 8 points. And he had 5 points until he hit this 3 right here. So although this was a historically great game and Luka's playing out of his mind, I don't think the Clippers should feel that upset about this. They know if they're a few turnovers away from winning this game.
Well, that's one way to look at it. Another way is they're down 10 with 2 minutes left. And the Portland strategy, the Denver-Portland strategy can work if you're going to score 140 points. But the problem is, and we're going to talk more about the Clippers later, one of the reasons Kawhi was so bad yesterday on offense is because he was spending so much energy getting cooked on defense. And so you can maybe say we're going to let a guy get 40. You can't say we're going to let a guy get 40 and 14. You can't do that. Like, they let Luka get everything he wanted, even though he's the only guy they have to worry about. And I know it says on the screen the 40-point go. But Brandon, he's 22. Go ahead, Brandon.
And he's just different, Nick. He's that good. When you have a superstar like that, I don't know what you did and how you raised him, but there's some games it's just you can't stop him. And that was a game where you just couldn't stop Luka. So yeah, he's 22. I get it. You know, he doesn't have the experience, but it's Luka. We saw this last year in the bubble. So there's some games where guys are just magical and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, and the problem for the Clippers is it's been every game. It's been every game except for the game where the neck was really bothering him. Even when you account for that, he's averaging 35, 8, and 9. And there's just nothing.